All right, all right. It's a couple of minutes early, but let's get this party started. Let's light the candle on this thing. Let's kick the tires and light the fires. Let's drop the linen and start our grinning. It's Morbid Mondays, and I'm your pal Bo. Hey, how are you? Hopefully you can hear and see me, even though it's a little bit dark. Let me get my water. It's not. This is a little big for gin. All right. Hey, good to see everybody. Happy Monday. If you can tell the difference between Monday and every other day, God bless you. It's about to storm here, and normally I don't have the lights on for this. And so, when I didn't turn on the light, and now I feel like I am lit by the hellish glow of my monitor in a way that is both unflattering and terrifying. But that's okay. That's okay. What up? What is up, Jason? I've been watching some stuff, as you can see, in the window. That way. Oh man, I'll never get that right. Let's start off by talking about the pool for a second, and then we'll get into some of the shows and whatnot. But, so this premiered on Shudder, or landed on Shudder recently. Is it a Shudder original? I can't remember. Anyway, played a bunch of festivals and whatnot. Point being, this is a movie that feels so squarely in my wheelhouse. And I like when I tell you, all right, so the premise of this movie, I'm getting caught up in my own head because of how frustrated I am by this film. The premise is you got a dude ends up in a pool that is too big or too deep to climb out of, is stuck at the bottom, and then a crocodile comes in, and then his girlfriend, or vice versa. And I thought, this sounds great. A guy stuck in a big ass pool, drained pool, with a crocodile. What more could you want out of a movie, really? I don't know the answers to that, folks. But I'll tell you what happens in this movie. Not a damn thing. It is a perfect combination of characters that behave pretty stupidly for the most part, and I don't really care about them or for them. And as far as the crocodile goes, nothing happens. Nothing ever happens with the crocodile. It's just a crocodile. It just hangs out. It doesn't eat anybody. It like drags people around a little bit, but that's it. And when you have a movie in which a crocodile is featured on your poster, it's part of the big part of the plot, big part of the summary, and then nothing happens, and then that crocodile doesn't do shit. God, man, the pool. You hurt me. I really wanted to like the pool a lot, and it just I found myself frustrated by it. And then there's a point where there's some animal violence in it, not crocodile related, mind you, not directly certainly, but yeah, there's an animal death in it that was just like, what the fuck? It was a real something. I'm not crazy about the pool. I think the pool's disappointing. I think it looks pretty. I think it's well made. I just don't think the story and characters and what happens is very good. So, the movie part of the movie. Rayman here. What up? Let's see. This already sounds better than the Dopey Lifetime movie, 12 Meters Down, about two kids that got trapped in a public pool when it closed for the night. 12 Meters Down sounds like the prequel to 48 Meters Down. And it still might be better than 48 Meters Down Uncaged. Let's be real. That movie is kind of shit. Hey, look, I'm not here to crap on movies. That's not what I like. I like to celebrate a film, but I felt like The Pool enough people had been like, hey, have you seen this boat? Yeah, I fucking saw the pool. You jerks. You big jerks. So let's talk about a different movie that I liked a whole bunch more. And that is a movie called The Vast of Night. The Vast of Night is... It's kind of couched in this Twilight Zone-ish sort of frame. Like a book ended by these sequences that are like, you know, here in this alternate dimension of weird shit, this story has taken place. I'm not sure how successful that part of it is. I'm not crazy about that stuff per se, but I'll tell you what I am crazy about. I think the Vast of Night, it captures it. It's set in the 50s. It's kind of a 50s sci-fi. Hey, are there aliens out there kind of movie, and it is so well done. It is such a well crafted kind of movie. It's well acted. I recently saw VFW, which I don't have on the slate to talk about, but if you want to hear my thoughts on VFW, I thought it was fine. So Joe Begos and I have a strained relationship, I think. But what I really like about The Vast of Night, but the girl from VFW, the girl, the victim girl is the lead in Vast of Night. And I like the fact that it's got this kind of quick talking approach to that, you know, kind of 50s era filmmaking, which I really like. I love that kind of clip dialogue and that kind of stuff. That stuff makes me happy. I'm a big fan of like The Front Page and His Girl Friday and a lot of the Frank Capra and Billy Wilder movies from the 40s and 50s. I think those movies are just terrific, and it's one of those things like they're all based on plays, so it's nothing but dialogue. You know, it's not like there aren't giant set pieces and shit. It's all just, you know, locked room mysteries and bedroom farces and shit like that. But anyway, it's evocative. The dialogue and the way that it's delivered is evocative of that era, which I like. It has kind of a, you know, that Orson Welles War of the Worlds kind of vibe to it as well. Anyway, you can make the argument that the ending is not incredibly satisfying, and I would entertain that. I still wrestle with it. On the one hand, I'm like, I think I like it, but I also wish there had been something. You know, it's kind of I don't want to get into why, because then it gets into spoilers, but let me just say, for the record, I wrestle with that ending, and there's stuff I want out of that ending that's not there, but I also like what is there. But it's great. It's great. You should see The Vast of Night, and it was, I think, produced by Amazon, so if you have Amazon Prime, it's free to you there. It's absolutely worth your time. Jason saying, I keep hearing about this one. It's good. It's good. Alan, hey, what's up, man? Also saying that's a step on the Begos scale. All right, man. Let's just hash this out. Let's hash this. Because I'm very proud of this analogy is why I want to talk about this for a second. I recently compared Joe Begos to, is it Begos? Compared him to Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. That he does pretty good covers of songs that you know, but I still prefer the originals. So when I watched VFW, I was like, oh, so this is his Assault on Precinct 13. Fine. It's fine. And on that level, it's kind of fun. It's pretty fun. Andrew Valdez saying he liked the ending of Vast of Night, and it's one of the favorite movies of 2020. It's on my list, man. It's on my list. If you look at my Letterboxd, which is /Borilla, I think, like Gorilla but a B. I've got a list called the Best of 2020 or Best of 2020. You can leave the off, and I believe it's on there. You know, that's for later when I'm putting together a top 10 list. I can kind of cull through those movies I've seen, and it's not a complete list, but it's close. So, but Best of Night right now, certainly in the discussion, it's a contender. Okay, Best of Night. What else are we covering? Oh shit, y'all. Let's get into some good shit. You guys ready to get into some good shit? We've just been goofing around. Hold on. I remember you saying something like you're still waiting to see a real Joe Begos story, not just the Joe Begos version of X. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. As a matter of fact, there's still not a. I would not say I've seen a movie that felt like it came whole cloth from Joe Begos's imagination. You know, and I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with what he's doing. You know, I was gonna compare him to Weird Al, but Weird Al does originals. You know, which makes Weird Al superior. Yeah, you know, I don't hate on the guy. Like, he's a good director, and I think that's what frustrates me more than anything, is I wish that he would just be like, hey, I'm going to direct this script, what I didn't come up with, and it's an original story, or original-ish, you know, he can do his you know, whatever his style is, but that's the thing, I don't know what his style is. I know what it looks like when he does a take on Carpenter, or when he does a take on Cronenberg. But I don't know what a movie from his eye looks like, which is weird considering how many movies he's made at this point. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about some just fucking great shit, y'all. Extraordinary. It is available, speaking of Amazon, available on Amazon Prime right now for 99 cents. Best 99 pennies you're going to spend in some time. It is, so it's the story of, what's her name? Maeve. All right, hang on, folks. I got to get to, see, if we were running a real professional outfit, this would have been done already. It's not the kind of outfit we run. The actress's name is Maeve Higgins. She plays Rose Dooley, who was a child, kind of a child star to some degree. Her father was like a television reporter. I mean, he was almost like a Leonard Nimoy doing an In Search of show. He wasn't Star Trek Leonard Nimoy, but like, you know, maybe a Robert Stack is a better example of just he hosted a show where they explore the weird and the fantastic. And his daughter has a particular gift which allows her to basically exercise a spirit. And anyway, there's a tragedy. Her father dies. She swears she's never going to use her powers again. And then when a single father comes to her with help for getting rid of his deceased wife, then, you know, this kind of relationship starts brewing between them. But like, that almost makes it sound a little bit like it's real tropey, and it's not. It is a movie that is very quirky without being deliberately quirky. It doesn't feel like a movie where everyone's like a Wes Anderson thing, where it's like, we're just going to be so weird and intricate with our doings here. It's just it's a very odd film. It's just got a very peculiar kind of sensibility to it. Like the ghost, what you see over there in the poster, that's how ghosts are represented in the movie. Is they're floating sheets, and I think that's fucking great. Like, there is something about that really appeals to me. Will Forte is the villain of the film. He is very, very funny. It's kind of it's just very weird and sweet, and it appeals to, I think, folks like us for the most part, which are like, hey, you know, sometimes when you're when you're making a movie, you just put in shit that's gonna make you happy. And there's a joke. It's in the. I am kind of spoiling this joke, but it happens in the first like 2 minutes of the movie, where as they're showing this old like 60s style In Search of program, they talk about how It's you might see cheese float if your house is haunted, because cheese is one of the most easily possessed of food items. And it's just this little factoid that they drop, and then the movie moves along. But man, I laughed so fucking hard at the fact that cheese is just a more like naturally possessible item. Anyway, a terrific film. It's very, again, very sweet, very heartfelt, vulgar in a way that I find really funny. It's just real charming, man. Like I said, it's 99 cents. That you just couldn't spend a better way. And Andrew saying that this poster gives him Beetlejuice vibes. It's not, kind of, but it's not even that dark. You know, like Beetlejuice is kind of mean-spirited, and Extraordinary just never is. It's just this big, happy, you know, like even though there's mortal danger and there's real threats, it feels more like Ghostbusters in tone than Beetlejuice, of like, this is more a story about these two people meeting and all the supernatural stuff is kind of happening around them. But it's very funny. It's, again, it's quirky without aiming for quirky, and that makes it kind of feel kind of refreshing. It just is what it is. There's just not a ton of movies that I've seen like that. Okay, so now one more movie, and this is kind of the real shit, y'all. I know I keep saying that, but now we're getting down to it. I don't know why I kind of slept on this movie as long as I did, but I finally caught up to Jeremy Gardner's latest movie, After Midnight, which he co-wrote and directed, I think. I'd have to look, but I think that's right. And I'm kind of a a real in the bag kind of viewer for Jeremy Gardner. I think that The Battery is fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies of the past, I don't know, 10 years or so. Just love it. Love that the sensibility of that film in particular. I just, there's something about Jeremy Gardner. I find him like charismatic and charming and very natural. And they're almost a weird kind of Ryan Reynolds vibe to him, where he seems kind of naturally funny, but he's not quite as silly. I don't know. Sometime later we'll dive deep into my weird attraction to Jeremy Gardner. But anyway, so this movie, it's him and Brea Grant, and they play a couple who live kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Georgia, and they run a bar together, been together for like 10 years, and one day she disappears. She just leaves a note, says, I'll be back, you know, that kind of thing, just gone. And about the same time, a monster comes calling and tries to break into the house. And so the movie is sort of about Jeremy Gardner falling apart because of this relationship, but also battling this monster on the nightly and living in a small town where, you know, his friends care about him and they, like, everybody wants to help him, but also they think he is losing his shit because his girlfriend has left town. And you as the viewer aren't really sure if that's the case or not. You know, you don't really know if there's a real monster. And it's much like The Battery. There's very natural dialogue between the characters, which I like a whole lot. Henry Zabrowski of Last Podcast on the Left fame plays Jeremy Gardner's best buddy in town, who has a very funny line when they go out hunting for this monster. It's just a really cool movie. There's like a fun little shout out to The Battery. It has maybe my favorite karaoke scene I've ever seen in a movie. I'm trying to think of a really good karaoke scene, and it's tough. But there's a great karaoke scene in this movie. I think After Midnight is fantastic. It is one of my favorite movies I've seen this year for sure. It continues to impress me that Jeremy Gardner is, man, he, like, I often say this, that there's a vibe that some directors kind of lay down, and you respond to it or you don't. And Jeremy Gardner's movies are just a pair of films. This and The Battery are both like, man, this movie's so fucking good. You know, like, it's super indie, it's super low key. It's not like, this is not the movie that's gonna blow you out the back of the theater or anything with its action and stunt work and whatnot. It's just a cool movie. Pardon me. Yeah, man, I really like After Midnight. Let me water up here. Let me hydrate. All right then. Alan saying it's on the list, man. Yes, please. So let's get into some other shit I've been doing. One of my favorite things that I have been tinkering with, especially over the past week, is a game called Carrion. As you can see in the, I got it right this time, in the picture there. Any feelings regarding She Dies Tomorrow? I'm curious. That's the Amy Seimetz film. I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely will. I think she's great. So, yeah, do I have feelings about it? I want to see it. That's my feeling. Carrion is okay. So it's kind of a throwback retro art design. It's got like a 16-ish bit feel to it, maybe 32. Maybe a Super Nintendo era kind of vibe to it. But here's the deal. Here's the game. And actually, if you go over to Twitch TV, was it twitch.tv/Legion Podcast, you can see some gameplay up there. I would have thrown it up on the YouTube, which I still might, but I was playing from an Xbox One, and there's a native way to stream to Twitch and not one for YouTube. So, I tried. I'm trying to stay brand loyal, but you're kind of fucking me, YouTube. Anywho, so Carrion. Also, let's talk. Look, I gotta do a quick video game aside, people. I like this lighting here because now it feels intimate. Now it feels like we're just chatting, just you and me. Because I got something I got to tell you. If you like the video games, I really feel like that Xbox Ultimate Pass, it's a pretty sharp deal. Get a lot of free games, all their first party stuff. Got some PC stuff, got some console stuff. Just saying. I think it's a pretty good deal. But Carrion is free on that service, is how I came across it. And it is a Metroidvania style game, is the common parlance. It is a game in which you play a bit of goo that has been kept in a lab, and you escape and are trying to get to freedom. You're just a bit of protoplasm trying to make your way in this crazy world. And sometimes you gotta murder a bunch of scientists and soldiers who are trying to kill you. And here's the good news. When you eat them, you get bigger, like the fucking blob. And it's kind of like if the blob and the thing monster had a baby, is sort of the monster of this that you are playing. And it's, I gotta tell you guys, as an old man who loves the video games, the way that you kind of slither through all the ducts and whatnot, you can reach out tentacles and grab folks and just toss them around and whatnot. Carrion game, it's a good fucking time. It's one of those things that when I think about, like, oh, I got like 15 minutes to play a game, there are very few games where 15 minutes is going to get me anywhere. Carrion, it's like, all right, I can fuck some shit up in 15 minutes in Carrion. It's a fantastic game. I was just reading recently that the developers hit some kind of crazy milestone, like they had 2 million downloads, something like that for the game. Deserves every bit of it. One of my favorite games I played in forever. So much fun. So much fun. Because then, like, you get special abilities, like you can just start whipping fuckers around. You can start possessing people at a certain point. I mean, it's just super fun. For a guy like me, being able to play the thing monster, slithering through some ducks and murdering some scientists, feels good, y'all. Feels real good. As if that weren't nerdy enough, let's move over to the world of comics. One quick note here. First of all, That Texas Blood, which I mentioned to you on the last Morbid Monday, issue 2 out now. That Texas Blood. Get on it. It's real good shit. This also I've been reading. About 3 issues deep now into Year Zero, which, stop me if you've heard this before, a comic book about The Walking Dead. No, it's not The Walking Dead. It's Year Zero. And here's the thing that differentiates it from something like Walking Dead. One, it's in color. That goes a long way. No, it's not focused on like a group of survivors the way that The Walking Dead is. It's much more like you're getting snapshots of a bunch of different parts of the globe. And there are some returning characters and some recurring characters, but not all the time. Like, one issue isn't like, hey, we're going to follow this character for a while. It's like, hey, we're going to get this one scene. And you're kind of building these character moments as you go. It's been good. I really like... There's one storyline in particular I really like, which is this sort of gun nut that, he's just this... like pudgy ne'er-do-well who was preparing for the zombie apocalypse, and then it came. And he started, like, I'm excited about here's why I'm excited about the next issue. The next issue is him, like, he's been talking to this chick on a ham radio for a while. And finally she's like, we should meet, like, you need to come meet me. I know it's dangerous out there, but there's no reason we should be in bunkers alone. And so he's about to suit up and drive his, like, Romero-esque zombie-killing truck over to her place in the hopes that he's going to get laid. And I think this dude's about to get real fucked up when he realizes that, what's waiting for him. And I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty certain, as a storyteller on my own, what should be waiting for this guy is this girl along with her family or whatever that's like, oh, he's got a bunch of shit that we can now take. So anyway, Walking Dead, is that about Jerry Garcia after his tour bus broke down? I'm afraid not. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Walking Dead's coming out with like some super deluxe version, I think this Halloween. That's the whole run in color, which seems cool, I think the black and white art style looks really good for that, but, I'd go for color. I ain't again it. Pardon me. A little bit of a frog in my throat tonight. But yeah, I'm real big, on this Year Zero. I think it's quite good. And now, if you want to, let's see, throw some more questions in there as we start wrapping things up. I have a final note here for the old show tonight. How best to address this? First of all, Wilford Brimley. Hey, not you. Hey, you. Wilford Brimley, of course, passed away recently. He is, I say this half jokingly. He was kind of a mascot, or is kind of a mascot for this network. Wilford Brimley is, like, unironically, I love Wilford Brimley. He's a great actor. If you know the backstory of him, like, being a bouncer and personal bodyguard and shit back in the day, like, he is just one of the coolest guys that ever was, and was up until he died. He seemed like so genuinely like sweet and wonderful and gracious and all that stuff. Rayman, St. Brimley, Brigade for Life, truer words. Andrews and RIP, goddammit. You know, I mean, he's kind of, it's one of those like gone but not forgotten things, right? Because we're going to continue to use the Brimley voice. I talked to Duncan just yesterday about what we're doing with the next season of Duncan and Bo Come Correct, and that Brimley would absolutely be a big part of it. So, man, it's a hit though, right? Because like he was an old dude. He was 85 years old. That's a great run. No getting around it. You know, and he was an old guy. Like he was a big guy. It's one thing to be an old guy. It's another thing to be an old big guy. So he did well for himself. For being a rather cherubic guy, what stuck around. And he just, you know, like there was always this like gruff, the Wilford Brimley in my heart is like that gruff guy with the heart of gold, and you know the guy from the Ewok adventure and shit that's, you know, taking care of these kids, goddammit. Get out of here, rabbit. It's just the best. You know, you say Brimley the podcast. Goddammit. I mean, doing it all the time, I think it needs its place. Not Brimley himself. Brimley himself, he is now part of the universe. He is part of the ether, part of the everything, part of the greater whole that is humanity. He is one with us, and we are one with him. And the Brimley Brigade is now going to be the Church of Brimley, now that our great father has ascended. So, you know, it's time to get that cult going, y'all. And it's all going to be Brimley based. It is going to be the Grand Walrus will, of course, be the highest honor bestowed upon the Church of Brimley. Not sure where I'm going with any of that. But hey, look, I am not one to necessarily hawk our wares on this network. We do have merch available. I try not to be like one of those people that talks about how you can pay us money all the time, because I hate that shit. But also, it's nice when you pay us money sometimes. But one thing I would recommend that is absolutely unironic, again, like my love for Wilford Brimley himself, there is a shirt over on, if you go to legionpodcast.com, there's a button that says like buy Legion stuff, and you can find a shirt there of our savior Wilford Brimley, our Brim leader. That's right. That says "Welcome to Brimley Town, population goddamn it," and I am particularly proud of that. I love that shirt. It's currently in the wash right now. Otherwise, I would wear it for this very show. Also, it's kind of a yellowish color, and that really washes me right out, y'all. But it's a great shirt, and it truly, like, it's a thing that comes from the heart, right? Like, it's one of those things that right away we were like, we got to have a Wilford Brimley shirt. That's just how it's got to happen. So, you know, if you want to support us, you certainly can in that way. And also a little tip of the hat to Wilford Brimley himself. Yes, is you did fine work. You did fine work. But that's it, y'all. If you have any questions, hit me with them on the quick like. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap it up because I am a little scratchy today. But you know, we'll do this again next week. I took last week off because I was taking some time off. You know, that's what you do sometimes. And a lot of times I take time off and I just continue to work on shit. This was one of the times I didn't do that. I took time off and I watched movies and I went to drive-ins. I found a renewed love of drive-ins. and played some games. And little side note, while I'm waiting to see if any questions come in. Little side note, I got myself a used Xbox One X because I have a 4K TV now, and I wanted to see video games in 4K. And let me tell you guys, they look great. I like playing them. Okay, enough of this bullshit, y'all. Do me a favor. First of all, if you would, go to legionpodcast.com. Subscribe to all the shows there that you enjoy. Leave ratings and reviews. Place bets who's fucking with Duncan. I think Duncan's fucking with Duncan, but I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring. I don't know the whole story on this, but I've seen some of the posts, and I this feels like something that Duncan might cook up on his own. Maybe not though. But if it is, I'm gonna volunteer that it's revealed that it was me all along. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, do me a favor, go over, rate and review the shows, subscribe to the new shows, drop the host a line. There's nothing better than getting an email from somebody that's like, hey, I really dig your shit. We've got new stuff coming up. I'm continuing to work on Pick 6 movie stuff, deep into the introduction for the next episode now. We've got, what else? New Pick 6, new Hero Go show on the way. First part of that is recorded, so that's coming along, but it's going to be a big show, so bear with me on that one. More commentary stuff coming to the Patreon. Duncan and I are now that he's done with the summer series, are working out all the stuff for the next season of Duncan and Bo Come Correct. So anyway, check out all that stuff. I really appreciate it when you do. The Patreon stuff, the Ju-On Watch is up there if you want to listen to that stuff, which I thought was pretty funny. And yeah, and finally, one other thing you can do for me before you leave here tonight, if you would, have yourselves a great rest of the week. Have a fantastic weekend, and then come back here next time, next Monday, this time for another Morbid Mondays. And while you're at it, I can't get my hand. Hey. We got us both in. All right. Yes, I'm counter-programming against Duncan. All right, enough of that. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.